And as we talk about Immigration and Customs Enforcement scaling back their operations here in Maine, we're speaking with immigrant outreach activist Marfine Chan, joining us in studio here on this Sunday. It's good to see you. Always bringing a good perspective. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks, Terry, for having me.
So Senator Susan Collins making some big headlines Thursday by saying that she had these conversations with Kristi Noem, and although DHS doesn't confirm ICE operations, what that might look like, the senator seemed to express some confidence that the expanded, enhanced operations in Maine are over. What did you think of hearing that news on Thursday?
I don't quite buy it. I think that there's a lot of chatter online, whether it's on the forums or Reddit or even Instagram and Facebook, that agents are now taking a more covert tactic towards detaining folks. And there are videos of agents in North Face jackets, which I think has become the popular meme, of questioning people in restaurants and bars and patrons of trying to locate folks. And so I think that there's been a slight change of tactics because of the PR disaster that ICE has been experiencing.
And we know that families have been sheltering in place over the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Do you expect that people who have not been attending school, families that have been keeping their children home, or people who have not been going to work, will this ease their mind at all? Will they continue life as normal, or will that hesitancy still exist?
I think it will still exist because the government has to understand this level of trauma, this level of terror and fear that they've struck into the community isn't just going to disappear out overnight. Many of my community members in the Cambodian community are, yes, staying in their houses, but they're not even leaving their rooms. Those are reports I've heard from some of our elders. And so that level of fear where they won't leave their rooms in their house tells you how much fear there is in the community. I don't think it's going to disappear overnight.
So our immigrant communities are diverse and don't exist as a monolith. I know you can only speak for yourself here. What would it take to ease minds for these people?
I think there really needs to be a concerted effort, both from Senator Collins to stop ICE funding, but also at the state level, there's a lot of things we can do. The governor can, for instance, impose a state of emergency, prevent evictions, fund county jails so that we can cancel contracts with ICE. But at the community level, we're already doing the work that needs to be done to heal what's happened. There's mutual aid, there's food delivery, there's care package delivery similar to what we did during COVID. And on that note, it really does feel like the COVID lockdown all over again. People are afraid to come out. People are in fear, this time in fear for their lives from federal ICE agents. But I think the community is responding as much as it can, but it does need the support of Governor Mills and our elected leaders.
There are a lot of people out there that every headline that comes out related to ICE activity in immigrant outreach communities that are pushing back, they still ask, but for people who are here illegally, shouldn't they go through the system, be taken into custody, and if they're eligible for deportation, have that happen? I know it's a complex of people with mixed immigration statuses, but how do you answer those type of comments?
Well, one, ICE itself won't release any clear data on the arrests and detentions. They've been hiding the data. Number two, the vast amount of folks that they've detained are not the worst of the worst. They don't have no criminal convictions. The Cato Institute has confirmed this. The Vera Institute has confirmed this. And so a lot of the folks that have been arrested and detained in Maine have pending asylum applications. Pending asylum applications means they're trying to go through the legal process of becoming asylum seekers and refugees in the United States. That's the legal process that the United States has signed on to through international law and human rights law.
What does your work look like for the time being?
A lot of security protocols, a lot of internal changes, and spending a lot of time trying to console community members who are in fear for themselves, for their kids and grandkids who are citizens, that they might just be targeted based on how they look, how they speak, and the color of their skin. And so for me, as a community leader, along with folks like Presente Maine and Maine Immigrant Rights Coalition, we have to also do the work of healing the community as well.
All right, Marfine Chan, thank you so much for coming in today. We really appreciate your perspective here.